Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 7 of our Tracksuit to the Top series, here with Lewis FC in the Ryman Premier League. Hopefully you guys are good. Today I have for you guys a live come against Bury, as promised last episode. If you missed last episode, as always, go check it out. There's a link to the series playlist down in the video description. So anyway, since the last episode we've had a fair few games. We've also had Regen Day, and it's been okay. We'll come on to the Regen shortly. You may notice if you were paying attention, that there was an unfamiliar name under the key player tag on the team page. More on that shortly. But first and foremost, we have to focus on our form, unfortunately. And it's been pretty poop. Last 5 games, we've lost 3, won 1, drawn 1. And to be honest, whilst it's not great, we've been kind of fortunate in the fact that Bury have equally struggled of late. If I show you Bury's form here, who are kind of our main rivals at the moment, you can see they've drawn their last 3 games on the bounce, so they come into this game perhaps not in the greatest form either. What is also worth noticing is the fact that Tunbridge, Witham, and I think Harrow as well are all teams that we recently played in our bad run of form. In fact, we didn't play Harrow, I think we've got them coming up. But Tunbridge and Witham are both teams we struggled against, so I'm hoping they might do us a favour there. But looking at these games in particular, against Enfield Town we lost 3-1. We were 3-0 down in the first half. Poor performance. Yeah, there's not a lot I can say for them that we simply didn't turn up. We then lost against Hampton and Richmond. This was a bit of a smash and grab by them. We were by far the better team, but that did not matter one little bit. Our only goal actually came from a penalty, which should give you an idea of how kind of lack of clinicalness I guess we had. That didn't even make sense as a sentence. But Jack Randall came back from injury and then got injured again. He came on for this game and then got injured, I think, in the following game. So that was a bit of a shame because he was just coming back to fitness. We did then beat Bognor Regis 3-0. A good result. A pretty convincing result. A result that perhaps we didn't kind of deserve. We probably deserved to get more from the previous game. However, we were more clinical than they were on the day. We then lost to Witham 2-1. Another game where I kind of feel a little bit hard done by. They had 2 shots on target to come back from behind to win. You can see here Jack Randall picked up a minor injury. I subbed him off and he's been out for the last 2 weeks, which was a real shame. And then in our last game, we did finally get a point on the board as we drew 3-3 with Tunbridge in a pretty exciting affair, with us coming back from 3-1 down with 10 minutes left on the clock to get an all-important point. And that was a pretty darn good result. So anyway, we do go into today's game with Bury, looking at the league table, still only 3 points behind them. Maidstone are now 3 points behind us. We still have superior goal difference, so that's still kind of going for us. We've simply just been outscoring other teams. As you can see, we have scored 86 goals in 39 games, which is pretty impressive. Our defensive record is not great. It's not terrible, to be fair. We've conceded joint second least amount of goals in the league, along with a few other teams like Margate, Maidstone and Hornchurch, who have all also only conceded 48. But today we are playing Bury, who have only conceded 39. So it's not going to be easy. But anyway, before we get onto that, we do need to talk about the regens a little bit. So in terms of our own youth intake, as you can see here, these are the players we got. They weren't great. You know, there's some players here who I'm sure will be useful for us at some point, just flicking through them. You can kind of see they have some ability. They may well do something for us down the line. You know, a few useful players here and there, but none that are kind of stand out. So what I decided to do was to look at what was available. And actually, the way I went about doing this is something I've never done before, but with the new attribute masking system where you can't see anything of players, what I actually elected to do was set after Regen Day, player age is at most 16, contract status is expired, and then offer every 16-year-old who was a regen who wasn't at a club a trial. As a result, I was able to see all the players' attributes because obviously they came and trained with me. So as a result, I can see all these players without having to scout them for months and months on end. So these are the players I actually let go and decided weren't worth keeping on. We have gone over our wage budget in signing some of the young players I signed, but I kind of feel like that's going to be worth it in the long run, particularly if we can go up this year. So in terms of the actual players we signed, there were 7. As you can see here, all 7 of them. The first of which was Joe Robinson, who's probably the best youngster right now in terms of his current ability of the players we've got in. He's a really good right midfielder. As you can see, he joined us on a free transfer, having not played for anyone. He only played one game for us, and that was in the previous game. He didn't have a great debut, but looking at this guy, he's got amazing physicals, great pace and natural fitness, which is good for in this division. He also has some fairly good mentals in terms of his flair, determination, leadership and off the ball, which is nice. And then he has some fairly solid technicals for a winger. Perhaps his passing and first touch let him down a little bit, but 10 crossings decent, 7 dribbling is not too bad either. And all in all, a pretty good player with some decent free kick taking too. So he was a pretty good player to get in. The next player is probably the player who I think could potentially develop the most with us, and that is Ben Bacon. He's 16 years old. He's a brave piece of bacon at that. And this guy, I kind of looked at him when I saw his attributes and I was like, well, he's got a pretty face. It's kind of like if you see a girl going down the street and you kind of think, oh, she looks quite nice at a glance, but is there something behind the scenes going on here? So I went on the information. Model professional personality. That's what you call a 10 out of 10 with a personality. Great player, great potential, wife material maybe. Ben Bacon, get in the van. Signed him immediately. He's a great centre mid. Got some real potential as well. You can see he's a leading player for teams in our division already. He's a complete role model for youngsters. He's 16 himself. And coach summary, he could become one of the best players at the club. I'm very excited by Ben Bacon. Next player was Craig Mullen, who's a decent goalkeeper actually. He'll make a very strong second choice goalkeeper in our division. As you can see, he's a good player for our division. And again, good personality. He's a role model, another model professional. Not quite as exciting as Ben Bacon, I don't think, but nevertheless a good player. The next player we got in was Lewis George, who's a centre mid and right back. A few episodes ago I mentioned the fact that I was a little bit worried about some players' contracts who were running out at the end of the year, and it was kind of something weighing on my mind. And it certainly was. Henry Muggeridge, unfortunately, currently isn't interested in a new contract. In fact, he is. He's changed his mind since I talked to him about 2 weeks ago. Right, Henry, stay at the club. Excellent. Okay, well that's one weight off my mind, because what I was about to say was I've brought in Lewis George and he may well have to replace Muggeridge, but if we can keep on to Muggeridge, that may mean that George can play in his preferred centre mid position, because he can also play right back. But this guy's a good player as well. Some good physicals, very good mentals for his age. I love the work rate. Determination's not great, but we've got him being tutored immediately, so I'm hoping he can come good for us. The next player is Ezekiel Long, another good little player. This guy, good mentals, pretty good physicals as well. Perhaps his pace lets him down just a little bit, or rather his acceleration, but good fitness. I love a young player with some good concentration, leadership, and the fact he's got a good work rate as well as teamwork is kind of nice. Also, you can see looking at his information, he's got a balanced personality, and he's happy to be at the club, and I'm happy that he is here. 2 more players just to tell you about real quick. The first one, Alex Reed here, 15 years old, and he can leap like a blooming salmon. 15. Looking at his main attributes, you can see here, 13 finishing, 14 composure, and 9 off the ball is incredible. They are great stats for a striker. Unfortunately, he's not the fastest. I'm hoping we can maybe remedy that, because he is only 15, but he's a very good player nevertheless, and he's on £5 a week, so what more could you want from him? Looking at my assistant's overall kind of opinions on him, bit selfish, bit one-footed, but he's a decent player for our league, good in the air, and he can play a few positions, so he's certainly going to be a useful player to bring on off the bench. And the last player, last but certainly not least, is Daryl Farmer, a good player again with some decent mentals for this division. He has an incredible first touch too. I love the fact 8 finishing, 10 composure and 8 off the ball, the kind of key attacking attributes for a centre attacking mid are all there. Looking at him as well, good technique, perhaps his passing lets him down a little bit, but good vision, good work rate, great natural fitness. Again, he kind of fits the mould of the lower league players you may have noticed I'm having a tendency to sign. He also has a good sporting attitude, and he's part of a fairly professional group of players. And you may remember when I first started at the club that one of the main complaints and one of the issues I had was the actual squad personality. I signed a few professional players and my assistant said they may struggle to fit in, whereas certainly this year I've really made it a mission of mine kind of in the background of my mind when I've been making signings to bring in some youngsters and bring in some players who are professional to really start swinging our kind of, backroom in the right direction. So anyway, looking at our team for today's game against Bury, Joe Robinson, the only one of the 16-year-olds who will start for us today. He's actually our best player in our side, according to kind of our club overview. As you can see, he is a leading player for anyone in our division. If I show you here, if we go to our club page, you can see he is our key player. He's a very good player, and I'm going to give him as much first team football as I can, and hopefully he can improve. In terms of what else we've got going on here, a few of the other young players who I've just introduced to you are going to be on the bench because they are simply very good players for in this division, and I'm certainly going to give them an opportunity to play when I can. In terms of players missing out the squad, Talak is injured, Talak is suspended, which is a shame, for getting 10 yellow cards. Jack Randall is out with a groin strain. Besides that, not too much more to tell you guys about. There's a few players in this squad who are certainly going to be being let go at the end of the year. I mean, you can see I've kind of got a rather inflated squad because of all the youngsters I've signed. There's some players here who are on, a little bit of money a week who are certainly going to be going in the summer and will knock down our wage budget. But all in all, we've revamped this squad at Lewis so far this year, but kept the core of it largely the same. And particularly with the youngsters I've brought in, I'm very, very optimistic going forward with this side. So anyway, we have got a big game against Bury today. Worth noting that Neven is back in the side. Our top goal scorer returns. So hopefully he can be the man to turn around our fortunes. Because right now, we've been on a little bit of a downward kind of spiral. We've not been playing particularly well, but it's the first game back for Neven. He has got 14 goals in 23 games for us and 8 assists, so you really can't underestimate his influence. I'm really hoping that coming back from another injury here, he's going to be able to hit the ground running for us, because he has had a few injuries. I'm also hoping for a good debut for Joe Robinson out on the right midfield, or not a good debut because he debuted last game, but certainly a contribution from him, because he's a youngster. He hasn't had the opportunity to play first team football, and I'm putting a little bit of faith in him, the 16-year-old, to really come good for us. But anyway, looking off the bat here, it's fairly 50-50. It's only 7 minutes in, but they are on the attack here. We need to defend. We've lost a bit of our defensive shape, but Banks holds onto the ball. He's loving it. And now can we work from the back? I'm going to highlight Robinson here. I did not know the ball was going to go to him then, but I want to keep a close eye on the 16-year-old. So we're going to keep him highlighted out on the right wing. See if he can do anything for us. That is a great block by our defender, but then we got fouled. Okay, that was a clear-cut chance, and that was a little bit worrying. But Robinson, the 16-year-old scores! Take a bow, Joe Robinson. Welcome to the club. His first professional goal moves us top of the table. Well, what an impact he's having. He could very well be our Glenn Stewart for you guys who watch my FC United and Manchester save. And I should, actually, I've not really mentioned the FC United and Manchester save, but if you're new to my channel, if you want to watch some Football Manager 2013, I did a series similar to this one that was over 100 episodes long with FC United. You can find the playlist on my channel. Go check it out if you haven't. If you're enjoying this adventure so far, I'd recommend it. But Robinson could be, I said Glenn Stewart, he's more of a Billy Reid out on the right midfielder, but he could certainly be that. And that is an incredible way to get us off the mark. Although Bury there, with a real opportunity to make it 1-1. They're having a fair few chances here. I'm going to change our system just a little bit, I think. Just because they're attacking us. They're hitting us pretty hard at the moment. So I'm actually going to switch to wingers, set to support, I think, in the midfield. And, yeah, we're going to go structured. And I want us to hold our shape a little bit more. I don't want us to push as many men forward. Because at the end of the day, Bury are a very, very good team in this division. They've got to be respected. And having our wingers, or wide midfielders rather, playing on attacking, perhaps these is a little bit short-changed in the midfielder kind of area. But anyway, it's a good first half. I'm liking how things are going, boys. There's a lot to come from you, and I believe you've got what it takes. They're loving the team talk. They are extremely delighted. I'm delighted too for you guys. Let's keep this going now into the second half. Good momentum builder. We've still only had one shot on goal, but like I give a damn. Because right now we are doing okay. Unfortunately, Elphick picking up a knock. Looking like it's not going to be too serious, which is good, but we have got to defend here. Ball being worked into the middle. We're certainly getting men behind the ball, which is what I wanted to do by making that role change. And that was a good chance for them, actually. Banks did well to hold on to the ball. If we could get a smash and grab here, that would be great. Bush, Branford, Blueden, Nevin scores on his return. The smash and grab. It's 2-0. Bury are being robbed. And to be honest, it's been incredibly fortunate, but this is some nice play. Blueden, who in kind of Randall and Neven's absence really stepped up for us with a beautiful assist there, trapping the ball down and passing it in one foul swoop, and Neven was just there to mop up the pieces. I'm going to take off Elphick just because he is struggling. In fact, I was going to, but I don't actually have a centre-back on the bench because of Talak's injury, so I'm not going to be able to do that, which is a shame. I am going to make one change, however. I'm going to take off Mason Bush, and I'm actually going to bring on Ben Bacon for his debut in the side. And we're also going to take off, I think... I was going to take off Sam Cole because he hasn't played superbly, but I'm actually going to stick with him because Sam Cole's the kind of player who... He's had a few poor games for me, and then he has just a moment of glory where he just plays well, and he does his job for us, and he kind of... Despite having a poor game, when the ball comes to his feet, he's there to finish it. But anyway, we've got a chance here. Ben Bacon with his first moment in the spotlight for you guys. Bluesden, Neven again. It's 3-0 from 3 shots on target. Nice work by Blueden and Neven again there in the final third. Robinson getting the ball in, and then it's just pulled back to the edge of the 6-yard box. And that is a nice little goal, really. Keeper doesn't stand a chance when a striker's left within 6 yards of the goal, with the goal just gaping wide open for him to slot the ball home into. And alas, that should be all she wrote here. I've got to be honest, I did not expect to win this game quite in this manner. I am going to make just a few little changes, I think, just because we have got some time, I guess, now, just to kill. So I'm not even going to take off Elphick for a non-centre-back player. I'm also going to bring on Lewis George, I think, to give him some game time. Just letting a few of the youngsters come on now for a bit of a run out, give them some opportunity to get first team football, and it's not often they get to play the team formerly top of the table who we have spanked 3-0 here. And I'll tell you what, after our previous kind of last few games and our poor run of form, I was beginning to question if we could really win the league, but this game against the team who are top, who have been playing well, really kind of, I guess, reiterates why we are so high in the table. Despite our poor run of form, we're capable of coming here to Bury away from home and spanking them, as Neven's now on the attack. Blueden, it's 4-0. It's embarrassing. Bury's goal difference is going to be nowhere near ours following this 8-goal swing. And, I mean, we've had 4 shots on target, but you'd have to say the chances that have come our way have been a really good one. Some great interplay by our front too. Perhaps Garnham should get a little bit more behind the ball there. But I don't care. I do not care. Ben Bacon, go on, my son. Find the opportunity. There it is. Blueden. Robinson. Muggeridge on the overlap. Go on. Ball in. Blueden makes it 5. I do not know what I am witnessing, but I think it might be illegal. It's 5-0. It's been an absolute masterclass in clear-cut chances and, well, creating opportunities in the opposition box. I was about to say clear-cut chances. Apparently we've only had 2. But if you were to actually look at the goals that we've scored and the chances we've had, they've all been very good ones. You know, they've not been speculative long shots that have flown in. It's very much been a case of we've crafted out some good opportunities in their box and really, I guess, found gaps in their defence and exploited them well. And that is going to be game, set, and match at 5-0. Boys, I am very happy with how you've played. We go top of the table. Our goal difference is almost 20 better than Bury Town, despite the fact that we now have the exact same kind of matches won, drawn and lost as them. 91 goals scored for the season. Probably going to get to 100, which would be an absolutely incredible achievement if we could do it. And Neven and Blueden getting the goals there. Robinson as well, the 16-year-old with his first professional goal. In case you can't tell, I'm pretty blooming excited by what I've just witnessed. So anyway, in terms of where I'm going to join you guys next time, I think it's going to be for the last game of the season against VCD. We now have a fairly kind run until the end of the season, playing very few teams in the top 10. In fact, our last 3 games are against teams in the bottom 4. So really, they should all be winnable. as we will be playing teams who are pretty much probably already going to be relegated at the time of playing them. But nevertheless, I hope you guys stick around for that game when that comes. Maidstone still within touching distance of us, but our goal difference keeps us above them too. Intriguing to see Grays dropping way off the pace now. And hopefully we can now just keep our key players fairly fit until the end of the season and see this home. But yes, guys, as always, thank you for watching the video. If you've enjoyed, smash the like button. Let me know which of the regens that I showed you earlier in the episode you liked the look of the most. Was it Joe Robinson? Was it Ben Bacon? Let me know. Maybe you can flick back through the video and pick out one. Or maybe you got some suggestions for where I could train the youngsters that I might have perhaps oversighted. I always like to hear your opinions on kind of what I'm doing behind the scenes of the team. So anyway, guys, yes, that does wrap things up. I am now rambling. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Other than that, guys, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.